We're... My name's Sam, and this is my channel. Do 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 do. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sam, and in honor of Valentine's Day, today we'll be talking about my top 5 most hated romance tropes. So in no particular order, we're going to start with number 1, forbidden love. Now when I say forbidden love, I'm talking about any kind of story that gives you a Romeo and Juliet type feel. And the reason I hate this trope so much is because I just find it completely cheesy. When I go to read romance, something I look for is at least a slight bit of realism. I don't care if you're two thieves escaping Dracula's castle or if you're fighting off a fire-breathing dragon. If there isn't some type of realistic connection between two characters, I'm not buying it. And like I said, the main problem with this is because it's just too cheesy. If we're dipping back down into the YA or middle grade categories, I can understand that. Forbidden love actually works here, especially when we're seeing these plot points in LGBTQ books. However, when we get into adult literature, it becomes a real problem. I've never seen two grown adults pine after each other so hard and then yet nothing. We're adults. Act like it. This kind of behavior isn't cute and I don't want to read about it in books. And that point leads me to number 2. The forced proximity trope. I hate the forced proximity trope for mainly 3 reasons. First of all, it feels like lazy writing. Now, I'm not the type of person to sit here and go, you can't have coincidences in your book, they don't happen like that, or it's plot holes. But there is a point where it is just lazy, and I feel like proximity is one of those things that feels especially lazy to me. It genuinely feels like you couldn't come up with a better plot than to take 2 characters and just stick them in the room together and see what happens. And while that's okay for bottle episodes or character development, when you're basing an entire relationship off proximity to one another, that feels really lazy to me. I don't know about you, but I've never just liked somebody because I was stuck in a room with them. If I don't like somebody now, it takes a whole hell of a lot to change that. We're not just gonna be buddy-buddy because we're stuck in a cabin together for 3 days because it snowed in. If anything, that would only make things worse. So along with that, I just genuinely don't understand where writers are coming from when they do a forced proximity in a romance. Erotica, on the other hand, I completely understand using the forced proximity to make things spicy, but during an out-and-out romance, that's not something I want to see. And the third reason I really don't like this trope is because I don't understand where there is to go from there. You've spent 3 days trapped with this person in a cabin, and now suddenly you're out in the world. What are you going to do now? Sorry to burst your bubble, but when you get back into the real world, his nail biting is still going to be atrocious, and the way she combs her hair is still going to be annoying. You don't get over those issues just because you were forced together for several days. But what do I know? Number 3, the other woman trope. You know the one. Guy meets girl, guy takes girl out on date, X shows up. Once again, this feels like lazy writing, and even worse, it's demeaning to women. This trope is often used by male writers who don't understand women, who think that it's cool to pit women against each other in romance novels. The women in these books aren't actually characters, they're just used as catalysts for the main character. The ex-girlfriend never has any development herself, she's only there to make the current girl jealous. It really bothers me because one of my favorite tropes is taking 2 women who could have been pitted against each other and making them best friends. That's a really great trope and not something you often see because instead we're getting the other woman. Number 4, pairing the leftovers. Now I love a good side character romance as much as the next person, but there comes a point where it's too much. Not everybody needs a significant other at the end of the story, and pairing them up like that comes off really unnaturally. It's one thing if there's been tension for 3 books and then finally at the end of the 4th, the side characters get together, but when best friend A and best friend B end up together at the end of the story because the main characters do, that's pandering. There are asexual people. There are aromantic people. And I don't understand why everybody needs to be paired up at the end of the story. It just feels boring. Bring us some diversity. And for my fifth and final trope, we have the catfish. This trope gives me all kinds of bad vibes. It's like, girl takes off glasses and you realize she was always pretty. One of my favorite examples of this is the movie Sierra Burgess is a Loser. Watch that movie and tell me how you feel about that character at the end, because it is not good. I talked about how the other woman trope is toxic to women, but this trope is toxic to both men and women. It is not okay to pretend to be somebody you're not on the internet. And it's not okay to trick somebody into liking you because you feel bad about yourself. It's not cute and it's not funny, and even if you don't intend to be, your actions end up becoming malicious. You're not who the person thought you were, and therefore you've broken all trust that they've had in you. And when media such as Sierra Burgess is a Loser decides to use this as a way to go, I've always known I was pretty, it really messes up the message for everybody else. And there you have it. That was my top 5 most hated romance tropes. Tell me what romance tropes really annoy you, or tell me what some of your favorites are. I'd really like to know that as well. Leave a comment down below. Please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos, and have a good day.